And welcome back to part number 2 of the 3 most possessed infamous dolls in the world. And this particular one right here in front of you is the original, the real Robert the Doll. And he is on display in a fort, I believe it's down by the Keys Fort, something. I'll get into where it's located. I did start these series starting with Annabelle. This one's next, and Kiko would be next after this. Because of a video that was on TikTok, and there was a discussion going on about, hey, these are just dolls, there's nothing to worry about. And everybody is free to believe what they wish. So I do ask that, as I respect your beliefs, would you respect mine and other people who might reply on here? Let's keep this friendly, keep this fun, and keep this under 10 minutes. And hopefully I've already had to redo these because I tend to let words slip that I think TikTok just like, oh, you can't say that. And so I got to do them all over again. So, anyway, this is about Robert the Doll. Have you ever had that eerie feeling, and I got my notes over here on this monitor, that you're just being watched? I always feel like somebody's watching me. Oh, sorry. Getting a little flashback here. Or felt his inanimate object was alive. Down in the Keys of Florida, many have experienced this sensation. And there's an infamous toy known as Robert the Doll. The story goes back to the early 1900s when this boy named Eugene Robert Otto was given this handmade doll named Robert. Now, where Robert got his name from, Robert the Doll, nobody knows. Okay? Well, the house where Eugene lived at was known as the Artist House and was built around 1890s, 1900s. And while at first the doll was nothing more than simply that, a toy doll, soon change, and terrifying events would start. One night when Eugene was about 10 years old, he woke up. Remember that age, because that'll come into play later. Would wake up to find Robert the Doll sitting at the end of his bed staring at him. Now, I don't know about you, but if I put an object over in a chair across the room, I'm assuming that's where it was, and I wake up in the middle of the night and that mofo is sitting right here staring at me. Yeah, we got issues. We got problems. And he find him sitting at the end of his bed staring at him. Now, I don't know about you, but that would freak me out. His mother was awakened by the boy's screams of help, help, and the furniture being moved around the room. She rushed up to there and couldn't get through the door and tried and finally able to wrench the door open and found him curled up in his bed in complete tears and cries. His room in a complete shamble. Furniture that was way too heavy for this little 10-year-old boy to lift or move had been thrown around the room and turned upside down. And there was Robert the Doll sitting at the foot of the bed. All this terrified little boy could say between sobs and cries was, Robert did it! Robert did it! Soon other strange and terrifying events would start taking place in other places of the house. Laughters and sighting of Robert running up and down the steps and staring out the window were also reported. Robert continued to live with Eugene throughout his entire lifetime. And shit, I'd have got rid of that thing. I'm sorry. You can go. It's time for you to move. Can you say eviction? And lived with him until his parents died, where he then moved back to their home because he had actually moved out as he became an adult. And moved back into the parents' home, the Artist House, with his new wife, now known as Anne. No relation to Annabelle whatsoever. Sorry, couldn't resist. Excuse me. So, let me scroll down here and get back to my notes. So, Annie didn't like the doll. Didn't like it not one bit, and didn't want it in the house. Happy wife, happy life, right? Yeah. Anyway, we're not going there. But Eugene said okay, and took the doll up to the attic where he could do no harm. Though Robert was not happy being up in the attic. Soon visitors, did I say attic? Yeah, up in the attic. Soon visitors would come to the visitors coming to the home heard footsteps in the attic, as if someone pacing back and forth, and a demonic, devilish laughter and giggling. Neighborhood children reported seeing Robert watching them from the window in the upstairs bedroom, and told accounts of the doll actually mocking them. Remember that, mocking them as they went on their way to school. When Eugene heard this, he immediately went to investigate, knowing that he had locked Robert up in the attic and there was no possible way he could be sitting in a freaking window in a freaking bedroom. It was impossible. Yet there he was, in the rocking chair, sitting at the window. What is it with dolls and rocking chairs? You ever notice that? Alright, let me get back on track because I got a limited time frame. Anyway, so Eugene passed on in 1974, and a new owner moved into the house. And they had a 10-year-old daughter. Remember I told you, remember that age? They had a 10-year-old daughter who was delighted to find this doll right here up in the attic. Where did he leave him? He put him in the attic. Well, they moved in. I guess Annie didn't want it, and now this little girl, has the doll. But her delight soon ended when she claimed Robert was alive and the doll wanted to hurt her. She often woke up in the middle of the night screaming in fear and told her parents that Robert moved around the room. Kind of like Chucky, remember? Remember Chucky? Running around? So he would move about the room. Well, many believe that Robert's evil began with the doll's creator. It's this woman, it is said, supposedly mistreated people and often punished them with voodoo and black magic. And it is believed that somewhere along the line, Eugene's parents either worked for this woman or had some kind of dealings with this woman and had incurred her wrath. Again, happy wife, happy life. Anyway, I got to throw puns in there when I can. So that might explain the mysterious and frightening experiences people have had around Robert the doll. But wouldn't the haunting end when the owner died? Shit, I can't say that word. When the owner became unalive? Apparently not. As one thing remains constant, Robert the doll continues to taunt and scare those who come to view him, especially guests who come to the museum where he was kept at after this. I should have wrote down in there, the parents of the daughter, the little girl, took the doll and got rid of it, gave it to the museum, got it out the house. No way, Jose, was this thing going to be in the house with their child. And I don't blame them. I'd have done the same thing way back yonder. But anyway, if anybody who tried to take pictures of this thing, the cameras would cease to operate. Batteries would go dead, flashes wouldn't work. They just wouldn't happen. And anybody that would try to mock him, there you go, remember that from earlier? Robert the doll would mock people. Anybody that tried to mock or ridicule him would find themselves at the evil, blunt end of Robert's wrath. So it wasn't before long before the doll was given away again, and now resides in East Martello Fort. So people come from all over the world, and Robert the doll sits inside yet another glass case. But this doesn't seem to stop him from inflicting fear and discomfort to staff and visitors. Staff of the fort report that Robert's facial expression, right here, often change and hear demonic laughing, and even having seen Robert place his hand against the glass window. It is rumored that if you mock or ridicule Robert, you're his next target. Even from where he sits at now, he will reach out and get you. So a warning to all, do not attempt to take his picture, ridicule, or mock him for your own good. I hope you enjoyed this story of Robert the doll. Feel free to do your own paranormal investigation, your own research online, whatever.